My job is to help you learn English in the best possible way. In these videos, I will often give you advice on how to learn English effectively. Sometimes I might give you general advice on the way in which learning English should be carried out and experienced. The way in which you approach the subject is very important. In this sense, I am using the word approach to mean one's attitude or an individual's way of looking at something. We might describe a person's approach to their job. We could also discuss someone's approach to life. Everything we do, whether it is something basic like taking care of ourselves, or if one is trying to improve their life in some way. Everything we do depends on the way in which we approach it. Learning a new subject will often involve a certain type of approach taking place. There are many reasons why someone would want to learn a certain subject. Perhaps they have a general interest in that particular area, a certain subject or topic they are genuinely interested in. Or perhaps it is something they need to learn so as to improve their outlook in life. A certain skill that will be very useful. Needless to say, learning English will be on that particular list. English is a skill. You might also describe it as an ability. If you have the skill, you are able to do it. That is one of the reasons why learning English is important these days. It is still viewed as a universal language in that it is often used as a form of communication between those who would otherwise not make contact with each other at all. As I just mentioned, it is important to have the right attitude towards learning English. Something I always tell my students is to learn often and every day. To make English part of your daily life is a good way of learning those small details. Daily listening is one good way to improve your basic skill of understanding or comprehension. Watching videos on YouTube with the captions turned on is a very good way of learning the way in which words are said, but also the grammar used whilst reading the text on the screen. It is almost as if you are learning two things at the same time. In fact, you are. I am often asked how much time should a person give to learning English as a second language. My answer is always the same. You must give yourself time when there are no other distractions or things to disturb you. I often find that morning is a good time to learn, as you can do it in a relaxed way, especially at the weekend or whenever you are free from work. Evenings are also a good time to learn, especially if you are in a comfortable place. Give yourself an hour or two in the morning, and later another hour or two in the evening. Don't always learn in the same way. Try to use different ways of learning. Sometimes you can listen. Sometimes you might want to read. Many people these days enjoy listening to podcasts and video lessons. You can literally lie down and learn. It is always my advice to learn something new when you are at your most relaxed. For some people that might be in the morning, while for others it might be late at night when everything is quiet. Over the years, I have become aware that my personal style of teaching English is for some unusual and for others different in the way in which I convey the information being taught at that moment. As I will explain in a few moments from now, my reason for the style of teaching that I use is to make each lesson vivid and engaging. Most people are aware that the way in which I teach is designed to give the student not only an educational experience, but also a way of relaxing whilst learning. The other thing to mention here is that my lessons are aimed at everyone. I try to include everyone in my teaching curriculum. Sometimes you might hear words that you already know, but then suddenly I will use a word that might be new to you. It is at that moment you learn something new. All subjects have their easy parts and difficult parts to learn. In English, you might say that grammar is the hardest part of learning the language. Others might say that listening is difficult. Building one's confidence is also a key part of learning English. And of course, the one thing that most people find difficult is speaking English in front of other people. Finally, I would like to talk about the attitude towards learning anything, whatever the subject may be. Some people believe that it is a bad thing to have fun whilst learning. Guess what? They are wrong. Sometimes it is a good idea not to take the thing you are learning too seriously. By that, I mean do not be afraid to have fun whilst learning. Just like any experience, the more fun it is, the more enjoyable it becomes. This method is also a good way of encouraging you to relax and feel as if learning is a fun experience, which of course it is. This has always been my method of teaching English through the years. Enjoying something can help you to relax, and over time you will find that the experience does become more enjoyable. Never be afraid to make mistakes, and if you do, simply tell yourself that it is just part of the learning process. With every new mistake you make, you are actually taking one step further on your journey. It is always good to find out what your weaknesses are so you can concentrate on improving those particular areas. For example, you might have difficulty remembering new words. Maybe you find it hard to hear what someone is saying. Or you might just be having difficulty with your confidence. All of these things can be improved just by practicing regularly. Every day, in every way, your English will improve is what you should say. Your confidence will grow with every step you take. New things will be learned with every mistake you make. Have fun whilst learning and never be afraid to laugh. That positive attitude will keep you on the right path. Enjoy learning English.